Today is a kind of a special day because today I am maiden-ing a new quad, and that does not happen very often because for the most part what I do is just fly my good old 5-inch Badgers, man, because these things are super reliable, they fly awesome, you know, and I just like to focus on flying. I don't like building new quads. It's irritating, especially when you're building like different setups and stuff like that, because there's a lot of trial and error and tuning and troubleshooting, and normally I don't do that, but today is an exception because I'm maiden-ing this thing. So what we're looking at is a typical Cinewhoop, yes, and of course, as you maybe can tell, it's a Beta 95. It originally came as a Beta 95 BNF GoPro, naked GoPro edition. So it originally came right side up like that with a little TPU mount on it, and the idea is that you just would stick your naked GoPro on it, plug in a battery, bind it, and off you go. Instant naked GoPro Cinewhoop awesomeness. The original BNF comes with like a flight controller and ESC separate, and it's connected by all these pin cables, pin header thingies, whatever. And some of those broke or something happened to it. I didn't even barely fly it, but it broke. I don't know how, it just did. So I had to rebuild it. I had to put a new flight controller in it and basically do everything from scratch. So I thought, yeah, let's just do it right. So of course I've got a Crossfire, I've got a Unify Pro 32 Nano inside here, and a Fox Zero Toothless, which should give me some pretty awesome FPV vision. And I have a BetaFPV 2-4S Whoop Edition BLHES board. It should handle this setup no problem. So it's a 20 amp all-in-one, but with the Whoop connectors all-in-one, and obviously it's all flipped upside down. I had to remap motors, I had to go into BLHES and change motor directions. It does fly though. I have test hovered this in my house. So my idea with the original Beta 95 was actually that I was going to flip it anyways, because all you need to do if you get the BNF is go into Betaflight, change your flight controller position, remap your motor resources, change some motor directions, and you should be good to go without even any sort of soldering or taking the quad apart at all, in theory. Since mine broke, I got to build it completely from scratch, and I have to say this is one of the most annoying, tedious, difficult builds I've ever done in my life, just because of the way the board is laid out and how the whole Betaflight OSD stuff works. It was just impossible to get this thing wired up with everything working and having the Betaflight OSD all functional with the smart audio and all that, because the friggin' pins on this board are just too close together, and no matter what I did, I could not get all those soldered up properly. So I just jury-rigged the VTX, changed the channels manually, hooked it all up so it does fly, test of it in the house. Now you might be wondering what's up with this little TPU part, and so the idea here is to carry a full GoPro on top of this guy. Blah, 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 what, full GoPro you say? Yes. So I know that the big challenge with Cinewhoops is video quality versus size. They're two opposing things. For video quality, nothing matches a GoPro at all, period. Just doesn't happen, no way. Size-wise though, the GoPros are just too damn big. They're heavy. They are, you know, 120 something grams. They're heavy, they're unwieldy. So if you were to put a big GoPro on a quad like this, it's barely gonna fly and who knows what. So that's why these naked things are really popular. However, where I live, you know, we don't have access to a bunch of used GoPros, and so the GoPro 6s here, if you can get them, cost the same as this that I'm using, GoPro Hero 8. Same price for me for a brand new Hero 6 or GoPro 8. So for me, doing the GoPro naked build, like, I don't know, I could buy one in the US and ship it, but that'll still cost somewhere near what a full GoPro will cost. And yeah, I could maybe buy a naked, but no one's really selling those except for a couple guys, and I don't know what. I could always go the direction of the naked GoPro if I want. There's a couple reasons I don't want to though, and the first one is the convenience. So I want to be able to carry a full GoPro on this thing so that I can put the GoPro on here, do my Cinewhooping, then take that GoPro off and use it on other quads and stuff. So convenience is one thing, reliability is another thing. The naked GoPros are just, from what I'm reading in the forums, they're awesome and everything, but look, they're totally unreliable and unpredictable. And that would just drive me nuts with my butterfingers and terrible build abilities. Last thing I want is an HD cam that's just has a mind of its own or doesn't work. And I don't have the money where I can just be blowing up cameras all the time. I want cameras that work. They need to be reliable. The third thing that I like about the Hero 8 being intact is that it gives you a few options. So most guys are putting the GoPro on it and using Real Steady to stabilize the footage. However, with the Hero 8, the Hyper Smooth 2 is so good that I'm thinking that that might give me another option besides Real Steady, right? So I'm hoping that I can chuck the GoPro Hero 8 on here, get away with a bit of Hyper Smooth 2 stuff for regular FPV style stuff, and if I want extra stability, I can take the video, run it through Real Steady like everybody else, and do that whole thing as well. But I like the idea of not having to always use Real Steady. So yeah, I weighed this thing with the LiPo and the GoPro Hero 8 on it, and the all-up weight is 270 grams with a full GoPro Hero 8 stuck to the front and this LiPo stuck to the back. And that's where this little TPU thing is special. It's from a guy called StanFPV, and he actually has a build called the Pusher Bee that is using these exact same components that is designed to carry the full GoPro on it. So apparently, in theory, there's some other dude out there who's using this same setup with a full GoPro and it's working. Therefore, if it doesn't work, it's because I'm an idiot and I don't know what I'm doing. It might be a complete failure. This thing might fly like garbage. It might not even fly. It might blow up. I might explode ESCs. I don't know what. And even if this thing does fly today, there's still going to be a lot of fine-tuning and experimenting and this and that in terms of getting everything perfect. I mean, to get really awesome footage, I have to get used to flying it. I have to know what kind of flight times I'm getting, how reliable it is, what it's good at, what it isn't good at, what all its little quirks are and everything. But yeah, that's basically the Whoop. So I'm gonna maiden this guy today. I have already test hovered it in my house a couple times. I just popped out to do a quick maiden, so I'm gonna run a couple packs. First pack is gonna be just LiPo only, no GoPro on it. And then I'm gonna check on the big old GoPro and I'm just gonna send it and see if I can survive this little forest here. Of course, I have a lot of grass where I can crash and not bust up the GoPro. That's the plan. So yeah, let's get off and start maidening this sucker today. like, okay, so it's really not good on battery life or efficiency, so I'm gonna need to, the motors are pretty hot, so I'm gonna have to tune this thing big time to try and help with that. But maybe I'll have to put some more like lipos on it. It seems to have the power, it's kind of up there in the power range, but it does lift the GoPro. So this is obviously the most inefficient quad I have ever owned in my life, including any of my race quads. But the proof of concept kind of works, which is weird. So yeah, it then becomes a question of like, fine, how can we refine it, tune it better, this, that, maybe I get different batteries, or I don't know what, different props. There's a lot of things that can be tried actually.